for Tess. It's just natural for Tessie. She just has a natural smile.
Yeah.
All right, so tell me, what was your favorite part of your wedding? What did you guys enjoy the most? And don't try to butter me up. Just whatever.
I guess my favorite part of the wedding was probably the part that told our story of how we met. It was really cool for our family that didn't really know us as well or know our story as well.
And friends.
And friends. My parents had friends that they had there that were 40 years of friendship. So it was really cool for them to be able to see how it all started.
Mm-hmm. I would say my favorite thing about the wedding was just the fact that everybody who was there because they cared about us, and so it made the ceremony just feel, and the whole day itself just feel so happy and full of love, and just all of these people that were so important to us all there to share it with us. So it was just a really happy day.
Glad it was happy. Mm-hmm. I want you guys to be happy. All right, so why don't we get in a little bit into the questions here, and just I think the first one. What did you guys think? The determining factors. You think that's the best one to start with? You felt good about that one? You feel like you got some answers for that? So again, thinking back to when you were deciding on your vendors, what were some of the key qualities that you were looking for, and how did I fulfill those key qualities for you?
Want to start?
Sure.
All right. Well, when trying to decide on a vendor, and more specifically for someone to do our ceremony, one of the biggest things was having someone who we knew would be able to make our story or our wedding itself a special one, make sure that it was someone who was going to be doing a good job. We felt that I'm
not sure where you're
Yeah, I'm trying
to.
Sorry.
Doesn't matter. You can just keep talking. Again, I'm doing a lot of editing, so it doesn't really matter.
So, probably.
Hands down.
One of the things that definitely helped was meeting with Reverend Dave the first time, the initial, kind of just to get an idea of what the ceremony was going to be like, because really, at that point, I don't think we were completely sure exactly what we wanted, but he was able to paint a good picture of what the ceremony was going to be like, what was going to be involved, and it really fit into what we were looking for our special day.
And then how did that happen based on what you were looking for, and after meeting with him, how did what you heard from the first meeting to what actually happened, how did that go? How did that go? Did you feel like the ceremony fulfilled your expectations in your of what we had talked about at the meetings to what happened at the ceremony?
Absolutely, yeah.
Repeat my question. So you have to answer the question by repeating the question.
Okay.
So Reverend Dave, not only did he help us at the first meeting, but then Reverend Dave also, the ceremony really did turn out the way he, described it to us, or something like that. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Okay, so the first thing that was really important to me when deciding to have Reverend Dave do our wedding and our ceremony was the fact that Chris and I felt that it was going to be something more special than just a typical ceremony, the kind you see at any wedding you could go to, on any TV show or movie. We knew that it was going to be something different and more fitting for us personally, just because we knew it was going to really go into depth of who we actually are and why we love each other. And so that was something that really exceeded mine and Chris's too. I think our expectations was the fact that when the ceremony actually occurred, everything that we planned and talked about came into full force, and it all just was so great. And I didn't walk away feeling like anything was missed or that I wished we'd done anything differently. It really all just came together so well, including the feedback that we got from other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. There are so many people, and some of them were my friends that you wouldn't expect them to make comments about the ceremony that came back and said that, oh, Reverend Dave did an awesome job. Like, that was so cool to hear your story and how everything played out and the ceremony flowed well. And, it was just really great to hear people that you wouldn't expect comment on it.
One deciding factor, especially for me as someone who grew up not having a specific church that I went to all the time, being extremely religious, that is something that with certain weddings you feel like that's a really important aspect of it. For this wedding, it pulled together kind of a little bit of everything so that people that I knew who weren't religious at all felt that it was a great ceremony, and even family members and friends who are extremely religious, they still, saw everything combine and just had the best feedback from both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, the problem that I personally feel with some wedding ceremonies is, they pay too much attention to the mass or the, religious ceremony that's going on, and it's not as much about the couple and their wedding. It's my wedding day. I wanted to be a little bit selfish, and I wanted the focus to be on me while still having, a religious aspect to it, but I wanted the main focus to be us, and that's absolutely what happened.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to pause.
The greatest thing about the ceremony that we keep touching on was just the story and the background, and it kept things really interesting. People were really in tune with the story, and it wasn't just like they were sitting there listening to someone go on and on and on. Reverend Dave did a really great job of keeping everyone's attention and making it interesting and a great story, which obviously it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that Reverend Dave just made sure that everyone knew our story. It was so cool to start from, the first time we locked eyes and had and talked and text messaging and just all of those little parts about a relationship that kind of you don't think about after a while, and sometimes you forget about them. Having everything come back together, and even during, rehearsing and practicing, going back over with one another, that story was just a really fun feeling to kind of remember it and talk about those little points, and then in the end having the ceremony share that fun information and make everyone in the audience laugh. It was really special.
What would be the things that you would tell a friend when recommending Reverend Dave? Why would you tell a friend that they should go with Reverend Dave?
Reverend Dave has a great personality and makes everything fun. There's so much stress involved with planning a wedding, and the last thing you want is working with somebody for the ceremony and be stressed out during it. Reverend Dave does a really good job of keeping things light and fun and at ease, and not taking too much of what are we called? Too much of his couple's times designing the ceremony and creating the planning for the ceremony, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, one of the main reasons that I would recommend Reverend Dave for a wedding for someone that I am good friends with, or even someone that I didn't know, on walking down the street, I would tell someone how professional Reverend Dave was with everything. He had everything organized. I never felt like we didn't know what we were doing from the beginning when we were just sitting down planning and talking, but also going through the rehearsal and the ceremony, I always felt comfortable knowing that, everything was going well and going to work out. Another reason I would recommend Reverend Dave is just because of the fact that he's such a, he just makes everything so. I know Chris said, well, let me start that over. I don't like how I was starting with that.
Take two.
All right. So Reverend Dave is someone that I would recommend to anyone because he can take your love story and your wedding ceremony and make it unique to anyone and in any situation. I feel like he does a great job at putting together not just your wedding, but everything from the start to the end of your life before each other, your life at the beginning of each other, and then, just how your life is going to continue on with the person you're going to marry for the rest of your life.
Yeah, he's got great attention to detail, too, like you were touching on. There was never a point where I thought that, something could be left out or we forgot something. Reverend Dave was really good at making sure that all bases were covered and we were able to get the most out of our day and our ceremony.
I think that's it. I think you guys did good. Any final words you'd like to say to somebody who's trying to decide whether they want to go with me or not? Why should a couple hire Reverend Dave to marry them? Anything different?
A couple should hire Reverend Dave and choose to go with him for their ceremony because he really puts a lot of effort into what he does. And you can definitely tell through his preparation, his delivery, and just getting to spend some time with him that he really cares about what he's doing and does the best that he can every time. He makes sure that he accommodates the couple's needs, what they desire for their ceremony, and basically just makes them feel comfortable and knowing that he's got it covered, and it's one less thing for a couple to worry about going into their ceremony and their big day.
Mm-hmm. If someone's trying to decide on who to do their ceremony, I would 100% recommend Reverend Dave to anyone who wants to make their wedding stand out from any other wedding, have people walk away feeling like it was a wonderful ceremony. I know that myself and everyone at our wedding walked away saying that was great, it was unique, I've never seen a ceremony like it before, but I loved it. And I think that that's so great.
And can I say something off the record real quick? Well, you can still.
Let's be on record, but I won't use
but,
it.
I was going to go back, I guess, to another question that we were talking about.
Go for it.
Tell a
Whatever
story
you
about how
yeah.
my friend's wedding that I was in a month after ours, and I'll be saying this into the camera, but their, I guess, pastor did kind of their story type thing too. It was probably like half as long and not nearly as good as yours was. So, is that something to
That'd
say
be great.
that
Yeah,
we've been
that'd be fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a number of guys out there who promote that they do the love story, and that's why I always tell couples, I'm like, they say they do your love story, but they don't spend as much time with you and get it down as well as what you'll get from me. So that'd be perfect.
Say that.
Sure. So another reason why that we would recommend Reverend Dave. We've been to other weddings before, close friends of ours, who had their pastor, Reverend, do their love story as well, and it didn't even compare to Reverend Dave's. It was, maybe half as long, not nearly as detailed or fun or engaging to the audience. So a lot of other people out there say that they go and do a love story, but I don't think anyone could compare it as thorough as Reverend Dave's love story is, and how well he does, just incorporating everything about the couple's lives and even the little details to really give their friends and family a great picture into how their love started.
Also, Reverend Dave does a great job of including everyone who's there in the ceremony, sitting out in the audience and watching, I felt. In other weddings that I have attended, I've felt like I was just sitting in the stands watching and not being a part of it. And I think it's really great the way Reverend Dave includes everyone, has people, speak out, and, everyone, shout out their support and love for the bride and the groom. That was something that I felt like everyone would be able to walk away feeling as if they were a part of it. And that's really important, at least to us, was everyone feeling like it was a day that was shared, and Reverend Dave did that.